The cost of living continues to rise. Millions are facing the difficult decision of cutting day-to-day spending to offset soaring costs.
Well, thankfully, finance expert and self-made money man Dave Fishwick has plenty of simple steps that you can make today to cut the costs and beat the squeeze. And good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so
Your
much.
story is extraordinary because you left school with no qualifications whatsoever.
Absolutely nothing. I was useless.
I'm not going to say that because you definitely weren't. You didn't prove to be. You proved to be very useful. You became the largest supplier of minibuses in the UK. I mean, a lot of people are watching this going, what's the secret to that then?
Well, I left school with absolutely nothing. I was 16, useless, ended up on a building site as a builder's labourer on £27.50 a week on the YTS. And I used to be up and down ladders all day with a bucket of cement in each hand, pebble dashing, proper graft.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was always hungry as a kid, still am. And I ended up in a chippy on Allen Road in Nelson. And I asked for a chip butty. And they said, no problem, 37 pence, Dave. So they're cooking the chips and they're frying everything and they're buttering the tea cake. And I put my hand in my pocket and I pulled out 35 pence and I were a couple of pence short. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm going to have to say, take a few chips off the top. I'm sorry, I'm a couple of pence short. And thinking, well, they won't do it. And do you know what they did, Ollie? They took the chips off the top and threw them in the bin.
Oh, no, that's horrible.
I want to be poor.
Yeah.
What? But how do you make something out of nothing?
Yeah.
How can you make money with no money?
Apart from the fact that's a shocking reaction.
It is, isn't it?
I can't believe it. Never go back there again.
I'd buy Chippy if it were open now.
Exciting. Well, there you go. The fact that it's shut might be
exactly
the testament to what happened. So, what do you think, mate? Because you said you have drive, motivation, and mouth. So
I've got plenty of mouth.
what do you think made you different? Because we'll talk about setting up the bank because that was the product of what you are and who you are.
How do we go from a builder's labourer to building the first new high street bank for 120 years in Britain? That's the story. But in between, it was just bonkers. Because I went from that to thinking, I want to start a business. I want to do something. I loved cars. But how do you make something out of nothing? If you've got no money at all, how do you start? So I thought, right, OK, there's always a way. So I went round all the garages locally and I said, have you got a car I can take away, do up and sell and bring you the money back after I've sold it and the difference is mine? And I went round half a dozen and one of them said, yes, on Bath Street in Nelson. And he said, you can have that, Dave, take it away, return us 70 quid. I advertised it for 100. I sold it for 97, so I knocked 3 quid off, so they'd have a good deal. And I had 27 quid profit, and that's like a week's wages back then. And I thought, wow, straight up, paid him his money, can I do it again? Of course you can, Dave, you've paid me. And then I learned another important lesson, is once you've got enough 27 quids, you can then negotiate a better deal when you can pay up front.
You're very smart, and then that sort of rolls, and from that very simple beginning, you then sort of own this minibuses and everything.
And then a bus. And they said, Dave, do you want a bus? I thought, I don't want a bus. What do I want a bus for? It's got 70
I want a bus.
seats in it. You know, have you got no cars or vans? You know? And they said, no, we've got this bus. So sometimes in life, you've just got to grab it with both hands.
So obviously, huge success there. And what's different about you than an awful lot of people that make a lot of money? Instead of just looking inwardly at your own life, you looked at where you could help others sort of that were struggling. And this is when you decided to set up your own bank. It was in 2009 in the financial crash and people couldn't get loans from banks. So your business was suffering because people didn't have the money to go and buy vehicles off of you. You opened the bank. Big banks don't like you, do they?
No, they dislike me with a passion because I give the best rate of interest on the high street. I then take the money and lend it to people and businesses who can't borrow from the high street bank, and the profit I give to charity. So I'm a terrible person.
So what's your rate of interest compared to the high street banks?
Well, our savers have earned over the last 10 years nearly 5% interest per year, and the big banks just dislike me with a passion. But that's not what it was all about. It was about how can we help, you know, and everybody said it was impossible, and everybody said you haven't got the correct parents, you've no qualifications, you didn't go to the correct school, you know, you've not been to Oxford or Cambridge. And I said, let me tell you about, you know, people come from Burnley, we don't get them sorts of opportunities. I run a building site, you know. So sometimes you've just got to push through and find
Well,
a way.
it's your pushing through and your methods and your front, as we've said. You know, you definitely are prepared to go straight full on into these things, and that's what you say in your tips. And some of them look quite simple. You say check your bank statement.
Well, it's important. Look at your bank statements. There'll be things on there like magazines and subscriptions and gym, and you've never gone to the gym for the last 3 or 6 months. Well, I haven't. For the last 3 to 6 months. You've not done all the things you were supposed to do, and all these costs are building up. Now, I put a goal to you and to everybody watching today. What I'd like you to do out there is I'd like you to save £13.75 a day. And there's a method in my madness.
Why is that key amount?
There you go. £13.75. Write it down at home. So, what I want you to do is I want you to look at how many coffees you're buying a day from Costa or wherever, £2, £3 each. How many subscriptions can you save? Can you get your credit card down a little bit? Can you get your mortgage down a bit? Can you get your telephone bills down a bit? Can you get that £13.75?
Well, what would that add up to at the end of
365 days in a year with my bad Burnley maths.
Don't ask me or him.
That times 13.75 is over £5 grand.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't
Now,
it?
if you did that for 4 or 5 years, you've £25,000. Now, that's a deposit on a house. Up in Burnley, that's 50% the price of the house.
Yeah.
Or it's just paying your gas bill.
It's just bonkers. That
You say
small amount of
barter as
money.
well. Bartering is, we're quite, as a society, we're quite embarrassed to do it, aren't we? It's not something we commonly do in this country, but you say just bite the bullet and barter.
Yeah, the old-fashioned bartering system seems to have been lost somewhere, especially in younger people. We need to get back to that. Bid at everything.
In normal shops?
In normal shops, you're going to buy a car or a carpet or a sort of Welsh dress, a piece of furniture, a bathroom suite, a kitchen, whatever it is, bid them half.
Half?
Half. Because you can always go up, but you can't come
Isn't it
down.
rude? Isn't it insulting if
Well,
you go,
people
I'll
get
give you
a bit
half?
embarrassed, don't they? But I've got a tip, and this is my tip, right? In my pocket, I've got a pair of glasses, right, that's ruined. They're in Mrs F's bag, and it brushed against her nail file in the bag. Put them on. I can't see a thing through them. Now, when you speak and you can't see people's eyes, you can say things.
That's amazing.
Deep
So
breath.
you blur them out.
And just say, will you take off? If it's a grand, bid them 500 quid. And I can't see your eyes. And it even works when you're on phone. Hello, I'm on phone, you can't see them. It works, I promise
my
you, I've
God.
been doing it for
I
30
love
odd
you
years.
so much.
Because you can see people up and down the country now going in old glasses that
Yeah.
they put sandpaper
Yeah,
on the front.
sandpaper
nobody
on.
can see
Vaseline on the
good.
lens.
Yeah.
What about saving money on things like food or energy? I mean, you know, people are
Yeah,
having to
that's
make
the big
choices
ones.
now between eating and heating.
Well, it's always a big thing to ring up first. You want to ring up first, get down the phone and say, look, will you take less for your energy? There's some wonderful community groups out there that buy energy, gas, oil, heating oil in bulk. And you can get involved in these. And then everybody buys it and everybody benefits a little bit. I love the idea of energy and the cost of living and all the gas and electric bills being took back into the community, run by the community to benefit the community. And that's what me and David H do at Burnley Savings and Loans. It's run by the people to benefit the people and not the bonus culture. We need to take control of energy back in this country and give it back to the people.
You say also supermarkets, get the supermarket own brands, shop at certain times of day when sometimes the food's been discounted. So there are clever tips and tricks that you can use.
Yeah, a lot of supermarket, petrol stations especially, they have the cheapest fuel because it's a loss leader.
Yeah.
So let your fingers do the walking, like the old advert used to say. Get on the internet and have a look. Fuel, cheapest in Burnley. You know, where's the cheapest food? Where's the cheapest times to buy? And when you buy things, can you, rather than take a pack, rather than buy Greg's pies and chips and drinks and things at lunchtime, take a packed lunch. Buy a loaf at the beginning of the week, 2 slices together, piece of cheese in the middle. You'll save at least
You're a
5 or
chef
6
as
quid
well.
a day.
All this
You know.
information. I mean, your story is extraordinary and it's not gone unnoticed because there is now a film about your life, which is coming out. How does it feel when you get that phone call to say, we love your story so much, we want to make it into a movie?
Well, Hollywood rang me from America.
Does that feel
Like you
good
do.
to say that?
No, because it happens in Burnley all the time. You know, when you're Dave from Burnley, they ring up every week. They said, Dave, we want to make a Hollywood movie about your life. I said, well, you better get yourself over then. And that's what happened.
And Roy Kinnear is playing you.
Roy Kinnear out of Bond, who's brilliant. He's more me than me.
Is he?
You know, when I'm on set with him, he's brilliant. And then there's Phoebe Denover from Bridgerton, one of Netflix's biggest stars. You know, it's bonkers. But from Bond to Burnley, he's going up in the world. I've told him.
It's true.
You
It's true.
have to come back because we love you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well done, you.
Just finally, very quickly, are we in the wrong mindset? You talk about bartering and you talk about going to the supermarket later on in the day when things are going to be discounted. People, you do hear, we've discussed in here, you're a little bit embarrassed about doing that sort of thing, but it's a bargain. There's nothing embarrassing about picking up a bargain.
Deep breath, glasses on, self-belief. Fake it till you make it. I didn't get up one morning and think, I'm confident. You just start and fake the confidence. Pretend you're confident, you know. And that's how you start. Fake it till you make it. That's the future.
Thank you.
I think you came up, I don't know whether you noticed, about halfway through that.
What did I
with
say?
a great slogan.
What did I say?
Bite the bullet and barter.
Marvellous. I'm making that.
There's a lot of
That's what
things
you
in that.
said.
You can have that one, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Still to come, she put her best friend behind bars. We'll be speaking to the woman who was conned out of £27,000 by someone she trusted like a sister. That's after the break.